Welcome to Apéritif. 15 minutes with a specialty cocktail, a delicious nibble, and an iOS app dev lesson. This week, we're learning all about operators in Swift while we make bruschetta and drink the classic gin martini. Hi, welcome back to Apéritif. 15 minutes with a specialty cocktail, a delicious nibble, and an iOS app dev lesson. My name is Karen Burns, and I'm the founder of Flying Start. And this week we are going to be making bruschetta. I had to practice saying that because I always say bruschetta, and my husband, who is a chef, who's a real life chef, corrected me on it. But this is our delicious bruschetta, that we're going to be making today. We're also going to be making another cocktail, the martini. A gin martini, of course, because there really is no other martini. Some people like vodka in their martini, but that's not really a martini. A gin martini is the martini of choice. So our iOS app dev lesson today will be on operators. And operators are the symbols you use in coding to make your code actually work. And we'll really be focusing a lot today on the mathematic operators like addition, subtraction, things like that. So they're the symbols that make your code work. So a couple things I want to talk to you about. First, Apéritif, I've changed the tagline from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. So instead of 30 minutes with a specialty cocktail, a delicious nibble, and an iOS app dev lesson, I've changed it to 15 minutes because 15 minutes is a little bit more of a manageable chunk, I think, for the viewer as well as for me. So that is the first bit of news I have for you. Second bit of news is Flying Start is still in business. Things are bad right now for everyone. I mean, schools are closed and businesses are closed, yes. However, if you are a teacher and you still have students that are creating, if you have students that are studying app dev or web development, sign up. Go to our platform. Go to getaflyingstart.com and sign up. There are small businesses out there and startup founders who really need you right now because they're trying to manage online solutions or develop contactless solutions for the internet that they don't know how to do. So if you contact Flying Start, if you register your classroom, or if you are a small business and you are looking for solutions like this, please go to getaflyingstart.com and you can register your business. During this time, we are donating 10% of our profits, which is actually all of our profits, all of the commission that Flying Start takes from the transactions when we match classrooms with tech skills to small businesses and startup founders that need tech services. We are donating that 10% commission to Feeding America. So we can help feed the homeless right now and feed people that need food, people that have lost their jobs and have no money for food. So we're going to donate our profits to that. So please go to getaflyingstart.com, not just for the resources from today's Apéritif, which will all be posted there, as well as last week's resources and the week before, but to sign up your classroom or to sign up your business or just to find out more about Flying Start. All right, so are we ready to get started? I hope you did your homework from last week. There's no way for me to check, of course. I'm not going to collect it. I'm not going to hand it in, but it's going to be, or you don't have to hand it in, obviously, but it's going to be beneficial to you if you keep up every week. And then you're ready to learn the next thing. All right, so are we ready? I hope everyone has a great week. And let's get started with our bruschetta, our martini, and our operators. The classic martini, 1.5 ounces of gin and dry vermouth. I prefer mine without vermouth, but feel free to put it in if you'd like to. Also, Beefeater, not my gin. Citadel is, but Prime Now gave me Beefeater, so I'll take it. A twist of lemon or an olive, and we're off. For the bruschetta, you start with some fresh basil, tomato, baguette, and garlic. You're going to slice the baguette. Here I've just made 3 slices. Some people, when they make bruschetta, they like their bread toasted, and I'm going to show you how we do that in a pan. We make croutons. Some people like the bread plain, just like this untoasted bread. So you can do it either way. First thing I do is I chop all the tomatoes. Here I've used regular grape tomatoes only because we're not in season for tomatoes. This is obviously much, much better in the summertime when tomatoes are in season. And for the basil, you chop up the basil. You can do a chiffonade of basil, which is when you wrap the basil in a bigger basil leaf and slice thin slices. The garlic clove, you take 1 clove of garlic from the head Some people mince up the garlic and put it inside the tomato mixture. I prefer not to do that. I'll show you what I do with the garlic. Salted pepper, and then some olive oil inside my bruschetta mixture. So I have tomato, basil, salt, pepper, olive oil. That's all I've got inside there. Mix it up very well. Some people put vinegar. You may put vinegar in it too. It gives it more of a salad flavor, but I prefer not to. So now I'm ready to make my croutons. So you heat your pan up, get it nice and hot. Pour in your olive oil. Make sure your olive oil gets nice and hot too. You're going to use quite a good amount of olive oil. Once your olive oil is hot, you put in your croutons. You're going to be careful when you're cooking these. I like to shake the pan a lot to make sure that the olive oil coats the croutons and they're evenly browned. Once they're browned, I take them off. I let them cool just a bit. And then I take the garlic. So the garlic clove I've cut in half. So I take the garlic and I rub the garlic on the crouton, which to me gives it a much better and subtler garlic flavor than putting minced garlic in the actual mixture. I think it's a better flavor. It's like garlic toast without the chunks of raw garlic. So then put your croutons on a plate and spoon your bruschetta on the top. Beautiful. And you're ready to go. So now we have our delicious martini, our nibble of bruschetta, and we are ready to get the party really started with operators in Swift. If you recall from last week, you downloaded the student materials, the student resources that are located in the App Development with Swift book. So let's go ahead and open that now. We are still on Chapter 1. We are going to do Lesson 1.3, which is all about operators. So operators are symbols that make your code work. Before we start, I want to show you, though, quickly the programming guide again. So there is a link to the programming guide in the App Development with Swift book. When you click the link, it'll take you right to the part you're studying in this section. So, for example, this takes you right to basic operators. It gives you a little bit more background on operators, and it gives you a reference. The programming language guide is an excellent, excellent reference for anything Swift. All right. So remember, again, if you click the vocabulary words, you can get the definition. So we're going to get started right away here with operators. So we've already used operators. The equal sign is an operator. When we declare a constant, when we say let equals, we are using an operator. So the equal sign is an operator. Other operators include plus, minus, the asterisk for multiplication, and / for division. So you can use all of those operators alone or in a combination to perform different functions. Also, last week we talked about data types. If you remember, doubles or a data type. A double is a number with a decimal point, and also an integer. An integer is a whole number. So you can use different operators to do arithmetic and get integers or doubles. Now you want to read through this part very carefully because it will talk about how to get precise calculations using doubles. So let's move on to compound assignments. Compound assignments are an easier way, a shorthand kind of way of modifying a value that's already been assigned. So for example, here they're showing you in a game, if you have a score and you want to add 3, you use a compound assignment. So plus equals is a compound assignment that would add 3 to your score. You can also do subtraction, multiplication, division, any of those things. The order of operations, of course, is very important. And the order of operations mathematically is you do multiplication before multiplication and division before addition and subtraction, and parentheses are always first. So make sure that you understand that while you're doing your while you're using your operators if you're doing any mathematical calculations. Also, now it is time to open up your operators lab. When you are finished with your lab, you will come back and you're going to do your quiz. So let's go open up operators, your lab, and get started. The first one we're going to be doing, there are I think 8 in this section for operators, is basic arithmetic. So you're going to assign some values for width and height. using our constants. The operator equal. And we're going to multiply those together. Let's see if we can multiply those together. So we're going to have to now create another constant for area. Let's do that. So how are we going to multiply these? So we will do width, and we're going to use the asterisks. I can never say that word, asterisk. Width times height. Now, you see, I didn't use any space between the operator, the asterisk symbol, the words. However, clean code, to write your code clean, and so it's understandable to everyone, you should really use a space, but I did not. That's something I have to work on. That's something I always forget to do. So you can see if we click the print, or if we click the console down here, it shows our calculation to the right. Is that correct? It is correct. So 10 times 20 is 200. So now we're going to do a little division. So let's look at this. So we're going to have to create a new constant here called room area. If you notice, when I type the word room area, I'm typing it in what's called camel case. Coding is done in camel case. So in camel case, you write the first word in lowercase, and the second word, of course, is still attached to the first word. However, you make the first letter of the second word and every word thereafter uppercase. It just makes it easier to read. When someone's looking at your code, or when you look back at your code, it's so much easier to read when it's in camel case like that. So let's print and let's see if we've got the area. So we want the area divided by 2. So our area was 200, I believe. So divided by 2 is 100. Very good. This is 3rd grade math we're doing here. Area, perimeter. I love it. It brings me back to my roots. So now we're going to work on perimeter. So of course the perimeter, as you recall from 3rd grade, is all of the lengths of all the sides added together. So we're going to do width plus height plus height. And we're going to name it perimeter. Operator is the equal sign. We'll use the addition operator. Width plus width. Oh, we don't want equal, we want plus height plus height. So as you can see, when I do my, oh wait, I forgot the R here. Sorry about that, perimeter. When I write my code, it would be much clearer if I left spaces between the words and the operators. I will work on that for next time. But hopefully you will learn from my mistake. So let's see, what is the perimeter of this? $60. Good. Yeah. So we've got 10 plus 10 plus 20 plus 20. So our perimeter is 60. Excellent work. So go ahead and finish this exercise. So remember from last week that each one of these labs has an exercise, and then it has an app exercise. So we've just done the exercise. Now we're moving into the app exercise. So we're going to be doing some fitness calculations for a fitness tracking app. So we're going to be working on the same types of things. However, you're going to be able to see how this would work in a real app. So we're going to declare 3 constants: heart rate 1, heart rate 2, and heart rate 3. We're going to give them a value between 60 and 100. So we've got 65, 78, heart rate 3. What should we give this? Let's do 99. Actually, you know what? 100, because 99 is going to give us a goofy result. So let's see. So now we're going to have to create another constant called added HR, added heart rate. Here we go with this constant. This is going to be the sum of all the heart rates. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use our
addition operator. Heart rate 1 plus heart rate 2 plus heart rate 3. And so then let's see. Well, before we do that, let's go. I was going to run it. Let's do the average HR. We're going to create one more constant, an average heart rate. The average heart rate is going to be the added HR, which we've just done, and we're going to divide it by 3. So this is a multiple step mathematic operation. We're going to add them all together and then divide for the average. So let's print that out and see. Look at that. So the added heart rate would be 243, and the average heart rate, which we printed, would be 81. Awesome. So I want you to go through and do all of these exercises. Don't forget, when you're finished, go back and do your quiz. Just a reminder, all the resources for today's lesson, as well as past lessons, are located at getaflyingstart.com, app Apéritif. Thanks so much for joining Flying Start and me today to learn about operators, and we'll see you next week on app Apéritif. Bye.